This week on London Real, we have MMA fighter and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt, Dustin "Clean" Denes.
I want to make every moment of every second count. You want to make things happen? Make it happen. Things don't happen on their own. Get out there and kick ass. Choose to be great because you can be. I'm the type of person, I'm always striving. I'm always striving for more. So even when I get that medal, it's like, I want more. What's next? First and foremost, I want to help and inspire people to be the best they can be. If there's 100 guys in the bracket, one of them's getting gold. Sure, somebody's going to get a silver and a bronze, but who cares? That doesn't count. Gold counts. I never lost track of the big goal. I didn't get into jiu-jitsu for, happy-go-lucky, training the gi, patty cake, you go, I go. I'm looking to get in there and kick ass and take over.
London Real presents Dustin "Clean" Denes, CHOP certified.
Step up, get a plan, and kick ass.
Welcome back to London Real. I'm coming at you from Shoreditch. I got some crazy street art behind me. It's actually a memorial to a woman's son who took his own life, I think about a year ago. So definitely come by and check this out, and some other fascinating art that goes around in this neighborhood. This week on the show, we have a fascinating guy by the name of Dustin "Clean" Denes. And Dustin is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt and martial arts instructor. He's also a motivational guy that speaks to a lot of executives around the world. And I trained with Dustin in New York City over Christmas, and I learned a lot from him. He has a way of tightening up techniques and making them deadly, and he busted me up on the mats pretty nice. And he has submission wins over the famous Marcelo Garcia and the massive Jeff Monson. Dustin comes every time on the mat to kill. He's got a crazy way of motivating himself, has always kept himself to some of the highest standards, and he's a great guy to listen to for motivation. To be clear, he doesn't necessarily like the current state of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He uses it as a fighting art, and he'll talk about this more in the show, and I think you really enjoy hearing his perspectives. Also, he went in 1999 down to Brazil to train with Minotauro Noguiera, a guy that I met at the Brazilian top team in around 2005, and this was back in the day when nobody was doing that. Very few people were going down to Brazil back then, and he has a lot of great stories about training with those guys then, his MMA career, and how he's kind of evolved as a person, as well as dealing with cancer. So it's a great story, a very London Real experience with that guy. Thank you, man. And so I think you're really going to enjoy. So sit back and relax and listen to Mr. Clean, as we call him. I believe it comes from his shaved head, but there could be more to that nickname. Those Brazilians always give everybody crazy nicknames in the jiu-jitsu community. So if you've been staying tuned, you've probably seen me posting these nasty videos of me in the gym doing my muscle up. I'm a little obsessed with the bar muscle up. At 43, I still think I can do it, but it's a lot harder than it looks. But I'm using all of the stuff from Monkey Nutrition to supplement my body and get me ready to do this. And that includes the protein powder, the Primal 26, which I'm taking 3 times a week right after those workouts. And I'm just trying to get kind of the optimal muscle mass, not too much, but not too little, because you have to pull your body weight over the bar, but you have to be explosive. So it's a tricky maneuver, and the worst part is that once I get it right, it doesn't even look that impressive in the gym. It's like, oh, okay. That's normal. So, but we're going to keep trying. I got some top secret people this weekend, gymnasts that I'm going to try to work with, and I'll keep posting those videos. And I'm still watching Cali Muscle, who is this huge bodybuilder in California that does like 14 muscle ups. So if Cali can do it, then I would like to think that I can do it. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to keep you posted on a lot of that and more. I've got another update for everyone at London Real. I've announced it today, and that is my second interview with Mr. Dan Pena, the $50 billion man. Yes, you might remember my first interview with Dan about 4 or 5 months ago. I liken Dan much to a psychedelic experience. When you get done talking with Dan, your brain feels like it's been fried or taken into a microwave or scrambled, and it makes you start wondering what the hell happened, makes you start questioning what you're doing with your life. And so I am going to go up to Dan's castle in Scotland. That's Guthrie Castle, and I'm going to go up there at the end of October, and I'm going to sit down and interview him there on his turf and try to find a little bit more about the man. But here's an announcement that I haven't told anyone, and I'm telling you now, is that I will be attending Dan's QLA seminar at the castle for the following 8 days, where Dan is going to get up in my business, and he is going to call me out and get in my face and in my mind, and I believe he's going to challenge me to question everything that I'm doing with my life and everything that I might want my life to be. And let's be honest, Dan doesn't mince words. He's part General Patton and part, I don't know what he says, but I think Dan's going to teach me how to dress British and think Yiddish. And it's going to be very challenging. I did not come to this decision easily, but I finally decided that what the hell, if I'm willing to go out there and drink ayahuasca, then why not drink Peña Oscar? So that's what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to release a daily video blog from my time in Scotland, and I'm going to download to you what it's like up there, what it's like being in the castle, being with the other people, listening to grumpy old men with billions of dollars yell at you all day long. So I'm going to keep you posted. It should be a lot of fun, and at the very end of it, I'm going to be wearing a kilt and having a dinner with all these guys. So wish me luck. It's going to be probably transformative and probably for the better, but that's kind of the exciting news going on there. I'm walking down Brick Lane, checking out all the good stuff as people look at me strange, and I just wanted to give a shout out to my folks at Bulletproof. These are the gentlemen that sponsor the show with the basically the best coffee ever created in the history of the universe. It is a coffee that's free of molds and toxins, mixed up with some grass-fed butter and their patented brain octane oil, which is the best of the coconut oil. You mix it up into this brew, and everyone I serve it to loves it. They can't believe butter is in the coffee, but it is. So that's the stuff, that's the sponsor. And the Bulletproof Diet is coming out in December. It's gonna be a fantastic book written by Dave Asprey. You can pre-order it now by clicking on the link, and if you do so, you get 5 free videos sent to you right away. I'm a big fan. I can't wait to see this book coming out. And you know, let's be honest, the coffee has changed a lot of people's lives, including my own. It's made me even better looking than I already was, and it can do the same to you. So check that out, and big thanks to those guys for supporting the show. And that's it, man. It's a Friday here as we're cruising down the lane, keeping it real, giving it to you from the streets. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm looking for another podcast to listen to, then I have a recommendation for you, and that is the Art of Charm podcast. It's brought to you by my friend Jordan Harbinger, who we interviewed on London Real 2 years ago when we went to see Joe Rogan in Los Angeles. It was a great interview. We sat down with Jordan, who actually got his law degree and then realized he did not want anything to do with being a lawyer. So he created the Art of Charm, which helps men communicate, interact with women. But it's more than that, because these guys take it a level even further, and it's about making yourself better, working on your inner game, working on your business, working on your networking skills. So the Art of Charm podcast has over 300 episodes with great people we've had on our show, like Tim Ferriss and Ryan Holiday and all sorts of top thinkers. And they have a toolbox of your own game. They've got a book called The Textbook on how to text girls. I don't know, these guys are on the top of their form. So go to iTunes, download The Art of Charm. You can also go to theartofcharm.com and get more free info for them. They also have a boot camp in Los Angeles. It's like a 7-day transformative program that I hear nothing but good things about. So big shout out to Jordan, and yeah, big fans of that. So there you go. That's it. That's my walk. That's my talk. Give me your feedback on whether you think I'm crazy to go see Mr. Peña, but it's happening either way. So I've already drank the Peñasca, so I'm going either way. But appreciate all your support. If you're feeling this video, please like it, share it, give us a comment, tell a friend, subscribe to the audio so you can get it free on your iPhone, and you can listen to my wonderful voice when you're on the tube or on the treadmill. So there you go. I'm going to leave it now with Mr. Dustin Clean Denes.
Shall we do this?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Mr. Dustin Clean Denes, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt and master instructor with wins over Marcelo Garcia, Jeff Monson, and Mark Lehman. You are originally from Florida, where you met Rodrigo Minotauro Noguiera, and in '99 you traveled down to Rio de Janeiro. You trained with him and the guys that I think would become the Brazilian top team, which was Sperry, Bustamante, and then you competed in the Brazilian Mundials in 2000, which you won.
Brasileiro. Brazilian championship.
Okay, Brazilian champion. Okay. You then later got your black belt in '01. After that, you started competing in mixed martial arts in Japan. You traveled to the USA, where you were a major part of the creation of the American top team. You now travel the world teaching. You just hung out with Peter Irving up in Newcastle, who was a big part of this show while he was in London. So big shout out to him. You're known as the King of the Triangle. You are CHOP certified. You are Dustin Denes. Welcome to London Real.
Happy to be here.
It's a pretty good intro, right?
Excellent.
I think I'm getting known, for those, across the world now. We trained in December in New York City. I was recommended to train with you by Brad Waldron, who's a big friend of ours, who was one of our first guests on London Real. And it was funny. I remember coming in and seeing you that day. It was on Broadway somewhere. And I brought a buddy of mine, Paul G., who was his first jiu-jitsu lesson. But we came in and, you taught me some things. I've been training for 6 or 8 years, purple belt. But, your technique is very specialized. And I was learning a lot of new things about you and how you were training. And I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about your journey through jiu-jitsu and kind of what you're doing now. And what should people know about Dustin Denes?
Number one, I'm all about excellence. I'm all about excellence. Those are my guys, not the ones who are satisfied with good, and and that goes for a majority of the population. I think they're satisfied with good. I know they're satisfied with good, but my stuff is for the guys who want to go. They're great and they want to be better than great, or they're good and they want to be great, or they're bottom and they want to be great. They don't just want to be good. So my stuff is really geared for excellence, whether it be on the mats or off the mats, anything in life. It's about first and foremost kicking ass in life.
Do you find that's hard to find? Because when I think about, jiu-jitsu or competition or, MMA, it seems like it attracts the best or guys that are looking for the best. But
when you look at anything that's mainstream, my stuff's very unique. It's very different. Anything that's mainstream, once you're getting in the mainstream, that's good. There's great is outside of mainstream.
Okay.
The way I see it, if everybody else is doing it, you shouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
I want to be great. If everybody's doing it, it's good. Everybody's in. It's the new thing. It's the glitter. It's happening. Oh, it's good. It's good for them, but it's not great. Great's another animal.
I want to talk about that. Can I tell you my story about the Brazilian top team?
Sure, talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me, BTT. I'm all about, that old school BTT.
That is old school. And, it's really funny. I went down to Brazil for my first time. I came to the UK 12 years ago in '02. I started training jiu-jitsu, and then I took a trip down to Brazil. And I remember I was watching Pride, and I found the Brazilian top team website, right? And I emailed some dude, and I said, can I come train with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I rolled up at it was at the AABB, which is the Athletic Association Brazil, right?
ABB.
Right by
sure.
Ipanema. And I walked in the training room, after I flew from London, and I walked in, and on the mat were Rodrigo Noguiera, Rogerio Nogueira, Ricardo Arona, Anderson Silva had just started training with him. Bustamante was there, and they were all rolling on the mat. And I was just kind of, I didn't know what to think, because there's people playing tennis outside, and you walk in and some of the greats were there. And I got a chance to train with Bustamante, and everyone.
What year was this?
This is 05, I think, 04, 05.
Okay, yeah, I was there in the beginning.
Yeah,
2000,
I've been
2001, 2002, that original group when we separated from the Carlson Gracie.
Right. So tell me, you met Rogerio in Florida, and you went down there and trained with him.
Rodrigo, I met in Florida. His mother lives there, and I met him there. He went there to check out United States for a first time.
First time?
Yeah, for him, he wanted to check it out, and we started training a lot, and it just happened. Hey, I want to go to Brazil. Boom, literally pull over, side of the road, all right, block later, pulling over and buying plane tickets. So it was. I think we were flying out on Tuesday, and I said to him the Friday prior, I was like, "Hey, do I need a visa?" And he said, "Hey, Clean, you may want to look into that." So I think so. So I got on the fly Monday morning. Boom, done. Like just. Money talks and bullshit walks. So they wrapped that up quick.
Was he fighting MMA at that point? Pride wasn't around.
He actually had. This is a great story. He actually had one fight, and the fight he did prior to us going to Brazil, he had the fight about a couple weeks prior to us going to Brazil, and yeah, I mean that was his first fight. That was his first fight. I remember he fought for free. He took the fight for free. I mean, this he's a champion. He's a real champion.
This was in
Brazil. He wasn't. No, this was in Florida, actually.
Okay.
Florida, actually. They told him, they said, look, you're not getting paid anything. We'll give you the shorts for free. The shorts, as in like somebody's marketing. He's doing somebody's marketing.
Right.
And but you're gonna get a fight. You're gonna get a fight. It's gonna be professional. And that was that. I mean, he fought a guy had 12, 13, 14 fights, pro, tough guy.
Okay.
And Rodrigo's coming fresh from Gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so it was definitely an eye-opener. It was a shot of espresso for him.
Wow.
He got the job done. In Rodrigo Minotauro fashion, I mean, he crucified the guy, but it's pretty much unheard of in MMA. It's a real high-level jiu-jitsu move, but he crucified the guy, and right. And that was that. But he got in a fight. He was in a fight. He was in a fight. He knew he was in a fight.
Okay.
This guy was no pushover. It was a fight.
Had Rodrigo been training stand-up before that, or was he just
a little bit? He kind of, it was more toying with stand-up.
Okay.
Toying and toying with stand-up and having courage, just courage itself. So that was really his technique at that time on the feet.
Okay.
It was courage backed up with, hitting some pads.
Right.
But his main thing was jiu-jitsu. So, hey, but, getting in there, like, it's half the battle.
Right.
Just stepping up and stepping up is half the battle. So Rodrigo was always that type of guy. He was always stepping up, like real inspiration. I remember me and Noguiera, like, territory that for us, it was like, yeah, we're always gaming for big territory. But when it's really big territory, Rodrigo wants to be the first to put his foot in, and he get his foot in there, and then it's like, all right, now we're clear. Let's go.
And this is
super courageous, super, never hesitate. He was always
he was
always
fights.
game. He was always game for a challenge. Like that day, it didn't matter who they were going to put in there with him. He was going to show up. He was on a mission.
Wow.
Like he's showing up and he's going to win. That's task at hand.
But MMA was reasonably big in Brazil at the time, but no one in the States had seen that on TV.
MMA was big in Brazil. They had the Vale Tudo. They had the no rules, but it was starting to catch on in the States, Right. It's starting to catch on in the States, not where it was mainstream, but it, obviously it was a niche crowd, but it was catching on. I mean, there were fights, there were places to fight.
Okay.
So when there was opportunity.
What did you learn when you went down to Brazil and trained with those guys? What was different about that training than the training you were getting in Florida?
Then, I had great instructors. I have a great background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was fortunate to have great instructors where I started in Miami. And I have, I wrestled for 10 years before I ever touched jiu-jitsu. So
right. People don't know that about you, is that you wrestled for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, since I was 8 years old, when I was 11, 12 years old is when I started making my own personal sacrifice, going out and running every morning to earn my cereal. And no one's pushing me out the door to do it. So it was like, I come from a pretty rough background of, but wrestling, like that determination, sacrifice, that leadership, being around people who just getting after gold, make sacrifice. And I'm learning this. I'm starting to use it when I'm 11 years old, 12 years old, and holding myself to it. So it was pretty hardcore. I mean, if you look back where everybody else is in the lunchroom, having fun in the lunchroom, just laughing, and we're out in the field running.
Right, and you're holding.
So that's my background. We weren't in the lunchroom laughing. We were out in the field running, cutting weight.
And no one
doing something to kick somebody's ass.
Okay.
And if we got our ass kicked, we're gaming to get revenge.
And no one was pushing you to do that. That was you pushing you yourself.
No, I mean, obviously I had a lot of great coaches, a lot of great training partners, but that was when you get into the sacrifice element, it's like if you want to be great, And this goes back to where I started. If you want to be great, if you want to be excellent, you know, if there's 100 guys in the bracket, one of them's getting gold. You know, there's only one guy getting gold. And the guy who, you know, sure, somebody's going to get a silver and a bronze, but who cares? That doesn't count. Gold counts. You know, and it counts for the guys who do lose. You know, how many do come back? The guys who step up and come back and want revenge and keep getting after gold, you know, those guys are stepping up. Those guys are champions too. You know, because they're going to keep getting after it, they're going to get it. But that can't be said for a majority of the population. A majority of the population, they just fold or they're just glad to be there.
Do you think sacrifice is a key element? Do you think if everyone listening right now took a look at their life, they need to start sacrificing things in order to gain things?
There's more to it than that, but that's one major player.
Start thinking of things.
Yeah,
to
you got to hold yourself to a personal sacrifice. You know, a lot of people have their to-do list. I'm big on a not to do list.
All right. Such as what?
Make a list like what not, you know, what are you wasting time on?
Bad habits,
you
bad
know?
friends.
Yeah, bad habits, you know, whether it be bad habits, bad friends, people, you know, something that you don't need to be doing. You do it because it's become routine, or you do it because you want to do it, but it doesn't need to. You're not maximizing your productivity. You know, and that's going back to the excellence. Not everybody, you know, it's not for everybody. The gold is not for everybody. They make one of them.
Right.
You know, it's for the champions. It's for the ones who are willing to make sacrifice. So I think that's huge for the ones who want excellence. Yeah, I'm big on that sacrifice. Like guys see my championships and they say, "Oh, you know, Dustin, you beat all these great guys," and they just, I mean, the list goes on and on. These guys I've taken out, and I owe it to sacrifice. And I tell these guys, they say, "Well, you went to Brazil and you did it there." I won those matches when I was 12 years old, you know, and continued into my, you know, my teenage years, just making sacrifice. Other kids are out and having fun, and it's 2 a.m, I'm running around my city with a hoodie on, and it's, you know, it's the middle of the night. So doing stuff like that, that's what I owe it to. But living my life like that, it's not fun. You know, and I can tell you, I was telling some students the other day, like me at my best, like the championships, the gold, it was a very lonely time in my life, because for me, that's what it took. But I have zero regrets.
Is it worth it?
Because I got what I wanted. It was worth it. Every moment, every time I was so far away from home running, and I knew I had to run back, and it tastes so bad. You get to the point where it's like beyond boredom. It's just, it tastes like shit, but you know somewhere it's going to pay off.
This is the hard work when
this is the hard work. You just don't let up. And it's like, sure enough, it came back around full force.
And when you get that medal, is everything as good as you would expect it with the medal? Do you feel like the next day, like, I don't know what to do with myself now for the next sacrifice? Are there any kind of mixed feelings when you get that medal? Because everyone's had that experience.
No, and I have a great answer for this. You know, I'm a person that, you know, once I got it, yeah, I take a deep breath and I'm like, yeah, right on. But I'm the type of person, I'm always striving. I'm always striving for more. So even when I get that medal, it's like, I want more. What's next? You know what I mean? There's something like right at that moment, I'm planning what's next, because I'm just striving for more. I never stop. I'm never, you know, I'm just always gaming for more. There's always, like, if I'm great, I want to be better than great. If I'm excellent, I want better than excellent. So, and it's like the result. I'm just always gaming for more.
We've had some championship guys in here. We had Dorian Yates, which was a 6-time Mr. Olympia, and he said when he won, he's like, I didn't celebrate, Brian. He's like, I expected to win. I should have won. Yeah. And I find like the great guys compete with themselves. Like the great guys they win and then they find a new challenge for themselves. Yeah. And then those are the guys that kind of keep going, I find.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, like you mentioned in the beginning, they'll bring up, oh, you know, Dustin, you submission victory over Marcelo Garcia, and they'll start knocking off names like this. And, you know, I'll tell them about it, but those I don't get excited about those. I knew I was going to beat that guy. I knew I was going to beat those guys. I knew that was my day. So I don't get as excited, whereas, like, you know, when I got into MMA, and it was more like, hey, you know, if you make a mistake there, the guy will take your life. You know, if you make a mistake, guy will break your arm. You make a mistake, the guy will knock you out, and you may not come back the same. You know, I've seen so many guys. I got so many great training partners. They've been hit, and they just never. They're still in the game, but they're not the same.
So with MMA, the stakes got really
it changed
high.
the game. I'll tell you, those are stories. Those stories I get excited about. Now we're talking about fear. I mean, I'm watching guys on video. I'm a great jiu-jitsu expert, but I'm watching guys on film that I'm going to fight. They're not jiu-jitsu experts, but yeah, 90% of the fight's going to end up on the floor, but 100% are going to start on the feet. And I'm watching these guys just knock guys out brutally, merciless. You know, if they see the window and if they got to take a life to get their victory, these guys aren't going to hesitate.
Okay.
So it's like, it just upped the stakes. So and me striving, I'm always game for that. But at the same time, it was, the fear factor gets involved.
Okay.
And then that you up the stakes. You see how now I'm talking about, I'm getting excited. Now I get excited.
Okay.
Those other matches, they're superstars. But a lot of the world looks at these guys, they're superstars and this, clean, you got that guy. I just don't get excited. Like Marcelo Garcia, I knew I was going to beat that guy.
And you just think because it's jiu-jitsu, the stakes are just a little bit lower because you're not talking about knockouts, you're not talking about your life on the line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, we're going to do joint locks, there's chokes, but it's when the punches get in, the game changes. And I learned that from my roots, and I come from the Carlson Gracie and BTT. It was, we're not in there doing mainstream, happy, and when I say mainstream, like mainstream as in now, what it's come to, you see a lot of happy-go-lucky jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Like, we're in it to win it.
Right.
For us, it was like kill or be killed, and we're in it to win it. That was our style.
And was that the kind of the Carlson Gracie ethos of just go for the throat?
You get to a certain point, and you're winning championships. It's like a given that you're going to transition and you're going to go hold the flag of jiu-jitsu and defend it. Defend the flag of jiu-jitsu against other martial arts. And I'm really proud of my roots. I love that because I didn't get into jiu-jitsu for, happy-go-lucky, training the gi, patty cake, you go, I go. I'm looking to get in there and kick ass and take over. That's just my style, and that's, a lot come from wrestling, a lot from the Carlson Gracie. And BTT, we're in it to win it.
Okay.
In it to win it, number one.
And that's the way all those guys were. That was the whole mentality.
And that's, you look at decades, most successful team in jiu-jitsu history was Carlson Gracie. Right. And it's that was number one.
And there was no coincidence that 4 or 5 guys from the Brazilian top team were in Pride. I mean, that's a lot of guys in Pride.
Yeah, we had a slew of guys in Pride. I mean, when we started BTT is when the rivalry began with Shootbox. Shootbox was starting in Curitiba, and that's when it began, That's when it began, and the rivalry, competition's great because we stepped up, they stepped up, we all got better.
Right. So
you have to, you step up, or you're gonna finish on the bad end of the deal in pain. So it was like, yeah.
So that was like
MMA changed the game, definitely.
But that was like a pride issue, like you said. Like Rodrigo just stepped up that day with the match. It was just an evolution of what you were training with jiu-jitsu to just step up and represent.
He knew it. Yeah, he knew it. Yeah.
He
knew it, and he wanted that. He knew what he wanted.
Okay.
And that goes back to like, He always had the big goal in sight. He never lost track of the big goal. Even in the championships, it's not a perfect world. Nobody just wins. He lost 2 on route to being his best. But it's the people who fail forward, which is not a majority of the population. You fail, you get up, you keep going forward, you keep going forward, and then boom, breakthrough, big things happen.
Okay.
But how much of the population folds? They fall on their face and they fold.
Is that something you learned from him, or was that the whole team mentality?
No, that I got from wrestling. It hit me in the learning curve in wrestling. Like, how many guys see my big matches? They're like, oh, you beat this guy, and they're just knocking off names. And I'm like, I lost so many times where nobody saw, to guys that nobody knew. But the difference is I kept getting up and I kept going forward with that I never lost track of the big goal. The short-term failures were short-term failures. I never lost track of the big goal. I never lost sight of the big goal. I want to win something big. I want to beat some great guys.
Right.
And I stuck to it. I stuck to task at hand. And for Rodrigo, it was like when he was MMA, task at hand, task at hand, task at hand. He never lost sight of that.
Why does he fight? Like, does he fight for his pride, for his own self, or he seems like such a calm guy and a quiet guy, and he doesn't seem like a lot of other fighters in Pride at the time that were winning, and he just seems like he fights for a different kind of reason, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end of the day, only he has the answer to that.
Right.
And maybe he can explain it, maybe he can't, but I mean, Rodrigo just, yeah, he loves it. I couldn't tell you.
Right.
I couldn't tell you one thing. I just couldn't pinpoint one thing because he's still fighting today, and it's.
I mean, you can't really pick out another fighter that's been fighting at the top level for so long.
Yeah.
It's pretty much him who's been fighting from Pride back then. So you think jiu-jitsu's gone a bit soft? Would that be a way? Would that be paraphrasing?
Jiu-jitsu's, you know, when you look at the mainstream, yeah, it's become very, very happy-go-lucky. You know, you've had that stuff around, you know, and it's not to say, you know, hey, whatever makes people happy. You know, if one person likes it for whatever they love it for, I take my hat off. Like, I'm glad jiu-jitsu does something great for them. I really do. And I'm glad because, you know, the mainstream, the sport grows. But, you know, for a lot of the jiu-jitsu people to go out, you know, and I see a lot of this with the mainstream, they think because they do jiu-jitsu, they're legitimately, they're capable of defending themselves in a real fight or really using it. And it's a big difference in a real fight. You know, I'm a firm believer, 95% of the mainstream jiu-jitsu population, the jiu-jitsu world out there today, they would get their ass kicked in a real fight.
Okay.
You know, and this including like superstar black belt champions in sport jiu-jitsu. Fighting, it changes the game. It's a different animal. You know, and I'm not talking about they need to even go up against someone with serious skill. Just someone who's got courage, brass balls, and it's not rocket science to throw a punch. You know, just someone who's coming. It's a different animal.
Okay.
It's a different animal. And like I say, I want to reemphasize that, you know, all this stuff, you know, the mainstream obviously helps it grow. It comes with the mainstream is growth. Great, you know, but at the same time, it's, you know, you got different styles. My style, strong style. I'm looking to come in, kick ass, take no prisoners. I have fun. I love jiu-jitsu. But fun for me, it rides so far in the back seat. Okay. I'm in it to win it. That's my style. I'm in there, kill or be killed. I'm not in there happy-go-lucky. I want to take heads off.
And that's the way you train your students. When they roll to kill.
Yeah, I want them.
You don't want quiet, relaxed rolling.
No, my guys got one speed, and everybody in the room knows that. You know, when we drill, but when it's go time, it's go time.
Okay.
Because that's it. That's just the way I train my guys. And I like them to take that into life. Because if you go out into life with your hands down and your chin high, you're going to get knocked out. Life's going to kick your ass. And, you know, I like to relate all my stuff and compare it to life because life is tough.
Let's talk about when you go around the world. I mean, you've been over here. I guess you probably met, 100 students or something in your past week here. I mean, when you walk in the room and
hundreds.
Yeah. When you walk into the room and you see people, do you know right away what's wrong? I mean, can you break people down in a few minutes and say, okay, this is what we got to work on, or this guy's having a confidence issue, or he's having this issue or that issue?
Pretty quickly. I can find out a lot in a short time. You know, I mean, yeah. Sometimes it's a bigger group, so I get around the room, so everybody who knows my style, they know I get around the room, I get everybody's name. There could be 100 guys in there. I'll have everybody's name within the half hour.
And what's the biggest?
How am I going to get the best out of a guy if I don't know his name?
Well, and how do you get the best out of people?
Just dig it out. I dig it out. I demand it.
Can you dig something out of everyone, or are some people just not gonna mesh with clean?
You know, and this goes back to what we were talking about before, with what I talk about a lot with the excellence and the good. You know, there's a lot of people they don't want it dug out. They're happy. They're glad to be there. They're glad to be there, and that's great for them. If that's the way they want it, great. But my guys want more. My guys are striving. My guys are they've got that. They always want more. They got it great. Oh, we got it great now. We want it better. Those are just my guys, and I can create that. You know, I can create that, and some people catch on. Some people don't. It's not for everybody.
Okay.
You know, I'm not looking like my style. When I say strong style, I'm in there. I'm in it to win it. One guy gets, you know, if there's 100 in the bracket, one guy gets the gold. How many are coming back? How many of the 99 are coming back, fighting again? And again, and again, and again. Not many. So it's a real niche group.
Are you there to train jiu-jitsu, or are you really there to teach these people about life?
You know, my main thing is I wanna help and inspire these people. You know, if I can inspire these people, that's first and foremost. I want to help and inspire people to be the best they can be. If somebody leaves my seminar and they're just a little better because of it, which, you know, ultimately the little details make a big difference. If it can have an effect on them, that's what I want. That's what I want.
As you get older,
then I got my guys who come back to me, and I say my guys, like my core guys, they just want, they live just striving on a catapult effect. They just want more and more and more and more and more. They're always gaming for more. And that's like me, but you know, my number one, first and foremost, is help and inspire people. They can learn jiu-jitsu all around the world. I can deliver them champion jiu-jitsu and inspire them. I'll get them fired up and get their strategy set. Because they'll get fired up, but I'm big on strategy too. I mean, I'm huge on strategy.
How to win matches.
Yeah, I mean, get a plan. Gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan. You gotta construct. You gotta build something in the direction of how you're gonna get what you want. How you're gonna get to where you want to be. Strategy's huge. If you could be motivated, someone could be fired up. They could be on their couch, you know, sitting down, just get super fired up. Maybe they're listening to their music or just getting their mindset and they're super fired up. If they don't have a strategy, in the end of the day, they're going to be sitting in the same place, fired up, tired.
Right. And
didn't go anywhere. So strategy is huge.
Is jiu-jitsu the goal of what you do, or is it ultimately just a tool?
Help and inspire. Jiu-jitsu is one way for me to deliver that excellence, that champion mindset, that get out there and kick ass in life. Right. It's my way to deliver. It's my choice of delivery. It's jiu-jitsu, and then, you know, obviously if I'm dealing with a corporation, I'm in my other gi. I'm in my shoes, I'm in my sports coat, and I'm delivering to them the same way I'm delivering to the jiu-jitsu.
How similar are they?
It's step up and kick ass.
Okay.
Get determined, step up and kick ass. Get a plan, get a strategy. Put things in place, get your sacrifice. You got to set a sacrifice, huge. Get your team. Nobody gets anywhere alone. I look back, I owe my greatest championships. I mean, I had great coaches. I had great training partners. I needed somebody to give me a hard time at 6 in the morning when I show up to the gym. My coaches tell me what to do, you know, to get me in the direction. Hey, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. I need those guys. I need guys showing up that I could do it with. So it's like without them, I mean, the teamwork's huge. It's huge, and that's, you know, ultimately if you define leadership, it's the team.
It's funny how in MMA the teams kind of disappeared. You talk about the shootbox days, Brazilian top team days, but like, I don't know, if I name the top teams and top guys in the UFC right now, okay, the team I remember, but the team's kind of secondary. I mean, it usually is the individual gets all the notoriety, but there is a team behind them.
Oh yeah, sure.
But since it's,
yeah.
And for you, that was Brazilian top team in Brazil, and
I was in the Carlson Gracie. Yeah, Carlson Gracie, and then I was in BTT, and then I was in American Top Team. So
how was MMA for you? And if your MMA career had come, say, 8 years later, you know, and when you might have been like in the Ultimate Fighter house or some other craziness, how would that have changed things?
You know, I wouldn't change what I never got into fighting I see a lot of guys fighting now, you know, obviously they want to make a living, and for me it was, I love jiu-jitsu. And this is, you know, this really gets to the heart of my jiu-jitsu. I always wanted to fight, and for me it was always about jiu-jitsu. At my best, especially in fighting, it was always about jiu-jitsu. It was always about jiu-jitsu in general. Even when I was in Brazil, it was about jiu-jitsu. It wasn't about, I want to make money. Oh, I got paid well. I was flying in Learjets all the time. I was flying on my fights in Learjets.
The promotions,
you know,
were flying you in?
Well, no, they weren't flying me. I had my sponsors. I had my team.
Okay.
I was in a Learjet. I don't know many guys that fly to this day in a Learjet to their fights.
No.
And get out after the fight and go eat some food and go to the airport and tell the captain, hey, let's go. We're ready.
Those are some good sponsors.
We're telling him when we're ready to go. So I mean,
Where'd you get these sponsors from?
I was just running with the big dogs. That's what I do. I'm with that excellence team. So I'm with those running with the big dogs always. So I was flying in Learjets. It was great times. I have great memories, and it was all about jiu-jitsu. And then in the end, I found myself fighting for money. Money became number one, and I lost the passion. For me, and this is going to bring back, going to my history, I wanted to fight one time. Just to prove it, to defend my flag of, my roots, my Carlson Gracie, BTT, defend the flag of jiu-jitsu. And what happened was the fight was a draw. It was in Japan. It was my MMA debut, huge fight. I fought a guy who was a veteran, seasoned killer. I mean, this guy was supposed to be a piece of fish food for this guy. And I gave him a fight. It was a draw. And I remember after the fight, I was lost in translation because I was thinking to myself, what the hell is this? A draw.
Right. Only in Japan.
Like
right?
literally, like, what the hell is this? I never experienced. Like, I'm a winner. I win. And at that point, like in Brazil, I didn't lose. And if I did, it was like, it could have went either way. I was just at a point where I was winning. So when they raised both our arms, something ain't right. Felt awkward, like there was unfinished business. So I went back in to clean the business up, 18 more fights. And then I said, found myself fighting for money. And I just said, you know what, I got to be here because I love it. And that's when I started getting into teaching and helping the guys. And I was past the point, me at my best, I was very, very selfish as a part of my everybody's got their own equation. For me, I was very selfish. I had to isolate myself from the world. And I think I mentioned before, it was a very lonely time for me, but I have no regret. It got the gold. It got what I wanted. It got the mission, mission accomplished. But now it's not about me. It's about the students. And I tell my guys all the time, and they know it. They know the way I teach. It's 110% about them. It's not about me. I cross the pond. I travel the world. I travel the world for these guys to help and inspire these guys. It's not about me.
How do you make that transition? Because to be a great fighter, you have to be almost 110% selfish. And then to evolve after that, you have to be, grateful. You have to be about your students. You have to live through them. Making that transition is a tough time for most people, right?
Yeah, I mean, probably for me, it just came natural. Like I got my gold. I beat the best guys. Guys say, "Oh, clean, you're gonna do it again?" I beat the best guys. I don't need to do it 5 times. 10. These guys keep going back to win the same championship that they won over. I just don't need to do that. I can spend my time. For me, productivity is helping these other guys. Now it's about giving back. It's not about me. It's about them.
So you train guys all around the world in jiu-jitsu. You do other motivational stuff. You train people in character.
Yeah, you say motivational. I say strategy. Majority of the world calls it motivation, but it's like I say, you can be fired up, but if you don't have a strategy, you're going nowhere.
Right.
So I'll do strategy work with the corporations. I love that. So I'm going in the direction of doing more of that. It's great. I mean, it's no different than getting in there and winning championships.
Right.
It's the same thing. Just step up, get a plan, and kick ass. Make things happen. Make sacrifice, and get your team together. Put your team together.
Talk to me about something that's hard to fight, and that's cancer, pancreatic cancer. You had some fights with that. What was that all about, and how do you fight something that's not right in front of your face like an opponent?
Pancreatic cancer was definitely an eye opener. It's definitely an eye opener. Most people die in short time.
Because that's got a very high.
Oh yeah, I mean most are in short time. I was very lucky. I was very, very fortunate, very lucky. Doctor told me. First thing he said was, before he even told me, he said, "You're lucky, kid." He said I had what they called a neuroendocrine tumor, and if it's neuroexocrine, you're done. Neuroendocrine is distinct. It was collecting insulin, and I said we're gonna go in there, get it out of there, and life goes on.
When was this?
2010.
Okay, so it was after you stopped fighting professionally and all that
it was
stuff.
after fighting.
And did you feel the symptoms coming on, or was it like a normal checkup?
No, it was a stomach ache.
Okay. And did that give you any kind of perspective when you get told that you got something like that?
Yeah, he put me in gear, like kick my ass, kick myself in the ass. You know, if anything, you know, for what it's worth, a blessing in disguise. Like get in gear, keep, you know, get in that champion mindset. Put the pedal to the metal and make things happen. Make them happen faster, because time, you know, time is something we never get back. Time is something we never get back. So I'm huge into productivity these days. It really got my ass in gear. Turn the cameras on. Got to turn the cameras on now. Don't wait 5 years. Yeah. I may not be here in 5 years to turn the cameras on. Right. Get these things fired up. Hand it to my guy in the car. I remember one of my students, Bonesaw, his nickname, tough kid. I threw him the camera one day. Just turn this thing on. Let's see what happens. Boom, and that was, you know, I started firing off the champion mindset. Decades of what I learned, I put together, and I started firing it off to the world.
It's tough, even as the most motivated guy and with all the specific goals, the natural human tendency is to kind of coast for a bit, right? So then when you get a diagnosis like that, you're like, Jesus Christ, I really don't have a lot of time here. And you got to really get back even harder at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it hits you. I mean, you can take it, the way I see it, like when stuff like that, adversity like that, challenges in life, you know, there's 3 directions people can go with it. A majority just keep, I would say a great majority keep living life as they were. They just keep doing what they were doing. There's a lot who they go down a notch, a big notch. So that becomes their excuse for everything, their entire life.
Right.
You know, oh, well, do you want to, oh, no, they feel sorry for themselves.
Okay.
Oh, best thing my wrestling coach taught me, don't stop feeling sorry for yourself. That was huge when 12 years old, running around the field. Don't feel sorry for yourselves. Like, you get tough, deal with it and get tough. It's tough times, great memories. But whatever the case, and then you've got that small percentage, that very small percentage who catapult. They just take it and they change the game for the better, and they just create a catapult effect.
You think that's a conscious decision everyone can make when they're hit with things like that? I mean, you must see that with your students or the people that you advise, where you're like, no, don't take this take it a notch down. Use it, use that. Yeah. Try to take it even higher.
I'm big in general, everything. Like if you want to go, whether it's jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna give the drills to the guys. If somebody's gonna go do their technique and their drills and their training, whatever they're gonna do at the gym. And then I'm going to compare this to, you take your equivalent, your person who's corporate, high level exec, they're going to take their stuff to the office. How are you going to do your work? Are you going to do it good or are you going to do it great? It's a choice. You choose. Nobody chooses for you. If you want to go to the gym and you want to be good, or you want to be great, the choice is yours. And I emphasize that to my guys. Choose to be great because you can be. Why be good? Good is not good enough. That's just the way I see it. Good is not good enough. It's 2014. Good is not good. Good is average. Good is not good enough. Make it great.
No surprise, I think some of your peers over the years have different opinions on you. Somebody told me that the current ADCC champion, Cyborg Abreu, said that, quote, you were nasty to people off the mats as well as on the mats. And I was wondering if that's still the case, or was that a young man evolving in that competitive nature, or is that Dustin? Is that Dustin taking care of business?
That was old clean. That was old clean.
Okay.
That's old clean.
When was this?
That is old clean. That is just that's when it was all about me. That's it's the opposite, and the guys know that. It's not about me. It's all about the other guys. This is a long time ago with just me coming from my roots. I'm in it to win it.
Right.
And I never lose the task at hand. The task at hand is gold and winning gold, and now it's changed the game completely. And all the guys around me, my mentors, that they all see it, they all know it. I'm the total opposite end. total other end of the spectrum.
But this is probably a little bit about your complaint about jiu-jitsu. I mean, do you think when people go to jiu-jitsu tournaments, maybe they do need to amp their intensity up a notch? Maybe you need to go in there for the kill and not be making friends on the side? I mean, is it partly that or not?
And like I say, like in the end of the day, like if it makes them happy, great. That's why I don't see it as, I see it as reality. I don't see it as complaining. I see what I see with my own eyes. You know, they can keep doing their thing. They keep doing their thing. It's not my thing. They can play happy-go-lucky over there and play patty cake and jump rope over there, and I'm going to be over here ripping heads off with my guys. Doesn't, you know, I just see it because it's, you know, it's jiu-jitsu, so you see the jiu-jitsu world, but I don't look in and stare at it. I don't waste my time there. I spend more time ripping heads off.
Fair enough. And as it grows bigger, it's only natural that this sport's going to be diluted to a certain extent. And even if it grows bigger, you can't have killers when it grows 10 times the size.
No. And I've got guys. I've got a lot of great students who are just, they're there. They want to train. They want to be great. For the time they come in, they have 1 hour exactly to train with me. These guys are high level. These guys are surgeons, attorneys. But they take what I give in the lesson and they apply that in the courtroom. They take what I apply in the lesson, they bring it to surgery. And they step up and they save lives. They do what they have to do to make it great, to be great at what they do, not just to be good. So those are the guys who are CHOP certified in business, CHOP certified, and they're always striving for more. And just the way I teach, what I instill is always striving for more and that greatness and excellence. They take that into their life.
Let's talk about some of your terms. 110% greatness, CHOP certified. What is CHOP and what's CHOP certified?
I mean, CHOP certified is always striving for excellence.
What's CHOP? Where did CHOP come from?
CHOP is me and a great friend of mine, we created in Japan. They say jiu-jitsu chop. You have karate chop.
Yeah.
So we took jiu-jitsu chop and then said, I got to take this thing to a whole another level. Like jiu-jitsu chop it's just not enough. Let's certify this thing. Certify it. Certify it. So that's where it came from. It's all about excellence and that greatness, and that's why I started with that, because those are my guys, you know, and I want to help and inspire people. If I could help someone, if they maybe they don't want it, maybe they're not my guy, but I get in there. Give me my shot, and I will inspire them. I will help them be better than they were when they came in the room.
And you have to, if you describe someone that is CHOP certified, what does that guy or girl look like? Like, what do you want them to look like to become CHOP certified? What are the kind of the attributes of that?
A lot of my guys who are CHOP certified, they're just regular people. A lot of them are, they're regular people, but they don't show it off. They don't show it off. They're striving. They've got gold medals. They've got Learjets. They're kicking ass in business, beautiful families. They're kicking ass in life. They don't show it off. They keep it to them. It's for them. It's for us. It's not, I'm not in it to show it off.
Fair enough.
The image.
Tell me about you and your routine. Like, do you have a standard thing you do every day? Do you wake up early? Do you wake up late? Is there a certain routine that keeps you and keeps your sanity, especially when you're traveling all over the world?
I just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just keep going forward.
Do you train every day? Do you meditate?
No, I don't have patience for meditation. It's meditation, yoga. Maybe from my wrestling background, I come, like wrestling has different styles. You've got your real aggressive, you got your passive, who are just looking to get away with the victory, do what they can to get away with the victory. I come from a very aggressive wrestling background, pretty much take over. We're creating a one-way deal. It's not, hey, I go, you go. It's I go. I'm looking to take. You give it to me, I take it. You don't give it to me, I take it. That's the style. So it's like, I never had the patience for yoga or meditation. I just want to get in there and skin them alive.
Wrestling's interesting. It's something that's talked about a lot, especially in the UFC. A lot of guys say wrestling is the best base to have, and because of those workouts that they do. And I've seen the workouts in college. I wrestled 1 year in high school, and I didn't even know what hit me at the time. And we weren't even a top wrestling school in San Diego. But it transformed my body when I was like 16 years old. I was a nerdy kid, and they had us doing so much work that I understood what was going on there. And I was wondering, what is it about wrestling that teaches people things? Because I know if you look at like Cormier, when he's wrestling now at AKA, they're trying to not only win, they're trying to break the other guy's will at the same time. It's like, who's going to break first? The other guy's going to break first. I'm not going to break first. Is that what you were taught with wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, similar, I could say. You know, we would push. We would just keep pushing. We just spent our life breaking barriers down, like, and pushing our body beyond what I ever imagined. Even when I was 11, 12 years old, I remember it'd be raining out. We're supposed to go run in the fields, and our coach would take us in the hallway and just put us to do, just madman exercises. Like, man, I'm looking back and I'm realizing, like, I'm 37 now. I'm looking back thinking, man, that was hardcore, right on. I wouldn't have it any other way. And so that's just my, you know, I never liked wrestling.
Okay.
I could say that. I like winning. That's what I liked. You know, jiu-jitsu, yeah, I love jiu-jitsu, but I love winning more.
Do you miss that
I'm
competition?
in it to win it. No, because there's other ways I win in life. Every day, life's about little victories. Little victories, little victories, little victories, big victories. So it's, you know, I'm always winning. I'm always gaming to win, just from different angles.
Where are you based, and would you ever live here in the UK?
I don't know. You never know what tomorrow brings. I was in Brazil most of last year. This year I've been more back in Florida where I was born and raised, and you know, always on the go. So I like it here a lot. UK is beautiful, and incredible people, incredible times. You know, the world is a beautiful place. There's so many great spots. So I'm very fortunate to be able to see all these places and meet all these great people. Be really surrounded by great people, champions in life.
What's your favorite part of Rio, and what's the part of Rio that you hate the most?
I mean, Rio's Rio. I love Rio. Anywhere I'm on the beach, I mean, I have great memories. Whether it's now, I'm at the beach now. If I can be in Baja, I can be in Apuador, I can be in Leblon, I can be in Ipanema, I can be in Copacabana, I can be in Niterói, I can be, you know, I have so many great memories that even if I'm not on that beach right at the moment, I have, or I go back to that beach for the first time in 10 years. It's just great times. I love Rio. A lot of love for Rio. Brazil. I like Brazil. Beautiful country.
I always thought you were part Brazilian for some reason. Do you hear that a lot or not?
Some people, because I speak a fluent Portuguese. I spend so much time there, so the accent, you know, if I start speaking Portuguese, I can carry the accent, so I can pass.
What was it like being an Americano back in 2000? Did everyone want to kick your ass? Did no one want to lose to the American on the mats back then?
Yeah, I mean, when I got to Brazil, it was 1999, so it was, especially in the environment I was in the Carlson Gracie, it was everybody's in there I was in the De La Riva too, and that was, you know, he's from the Carlson Gracie, but it was that was his operation. You see clean gis, combed hair, fresh shave. Carlson Gracie, you didn't see that. Dirty gis, no shave, scar face, tough, in it to win it, grind face, no conversation. We're not here to talk. We're here to win. We're here to work together and win. So you had that teamwork effect there. It was everybody's in it to win it.
So what's better, dirty gis or clean gis?
I can tell you this. When I got to the Carlson Gracie, and I got a lot of love for De La Riva to this day. De La Riva, he's great, and it's. When I got to the Carlson Gracie, I knew I was walking around looking at everybody. I was like, oh man, this place is like a rough house. I said, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place. Like, this is the right place, because I know these guys are in it to win it. However, I play both ends. I spend more time in my nice shoes and my sports coat these days. I really do. As much as I'm in my gi and I'm on the mat, or I'm training gi, no gi, giving lessons, I spend more time in my nice shoes and my sports coat. I'm clean, pristine. So.
Are these two metaphors for life? The clean gi and the dirty gi. Sometimes you got to get down and dirty. I mean, sometimes you got to keep it clean.
Sometimes you got to take out the baseball bat and the hammer, and other times just gotta come in there with class, and then take out the baseball bat and the hammer.
How are you finding the business world, and when you deal with corporates, and how are you finding that whole aspect of your game compared to, say, 10 years ago when you were just fighting? How are you finding it?
It's a different animal, because going back to like what I was saying when I was fighting, it was all about, I was very selfish.
Right.
Now it's all about these guys, whether it's the students or the corporate guys, the high level execs. Like it's put a plan together and get in there and kick ass and go from whether it be good to great or great to excellent, or from excellent to better than excellent. So I love it. I love it. It's just, I'm always with groups, they're always striving. These guys are striving. Good is not good enough. These are my guys.
Do you find that if you meet a corporate guy who hasn't trained jiu-jitsu, is he a different kind of person than the guy that has trained, the guy that's been tapped out, the guy that always walks around with a certain base level of humility? Or do you find that they aren't that different after all, the guys that have rolled?
I mean, people are people, but you have different gauges. I mean, there's different gauges. There's a lot of these guys, they just don't want it for them. They don't want that. They just want the champion mindset. So it's just, jiu-jitsu is one of my ways to deliver that help and inspire these guys, really inspire these people to go out and be the best they can be in life. And at the same time, I'm delivering them a 5-star top caliber champion jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, if you look at all my stuff, it's battle-tested, proven successful against the best. So I'm giving them that, but I'm inspiring these guys. I'll get them fired up. I'll get it out of them, get them a plan.
Yeah, it's funny because it's a tool, and if people haven't trained jiu-jitsu that are listening to us, it's like, oh, those guys are talking about martial arts. I don't do martial arts, but it's a crazy tool, just like wrestling when you're a kid, because you're pushing yourself to new levels and you're teaching your brain that you can go harder than you thought you could, and you're getting that confidence that gets you the next success, and it's all intertwined, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it could be. It's just my choice of delivery. Is jiu-jitsu in there with the high level execs. I mean that's my choice of delivery. I could deliver it anywhere. But that's where I choose to deliver. So. Do
you watch the UFC right now? What do you think of the current state of mixed martial arts?
UFC's doing a great job. They're doing an excellent job. Look at the size of the show. I mean, they're the big dog. They've taken over the world. They've taken over. They're incredible. I don't watch. I watch on occasion if I know a guy. If I'm in a corner a guy, I'll go out there. But I really don't. They're having a show every week now. It's very mainstream. They can't. It's smart business. It's smart business. There's a lot of guys in there who really have no business being there. They're in it for the image. They're in it to say, oh, I'm a tough guy. I'm a fighter. I'm a tough guy. I fight in the UFC. But they have no business being there. They can't fight.
Can you tell by watching them fight? Can you tell the personality by watching them fight?
I mean, sometimes you could pick them out. A lot of time you got chumps fighting chumps. One chump's got to win. So it's, in the end of the day, one chump's got to win. So, and he's going to be super confident. He's going to think he's the world. And they may just feed him another chump after chump after chump, but eventually he's going to have to fight somebody. That's when he'll be exposed. So, on their part, I take my hat off to those guys. They're running a great business model. I mean, you look at it, why pay a bunch of Anderson Silvas and superstars when they could pay a bunch, get one of those fights on the card, get a bunch of other guys off bar stools, pay them next to nothing. It's more money in their pocket, in the UFC's pocket. That's the business model.
Right.
Why are they going to pay a bunch of Anderson Silvas? The beer drinker, they're not making billions of dollars off the educated fans, not guys like me. They're making it off people who want to drink a beer and see a fight. They don't know the difference between champions and chumps. They don't.
Yeah, it's funny because we always wanted the sport to go mainstream, and then now it's mainstream. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah, it changed, but they're doing a great job.
Do you watch jiu-jitsu competitions? Do you watch Metamoris and that stuff, or are you kind of
No. I'm just it goes back to I'm just so into my guys and helping my guys and adding to my network and building up what I've got and making it stronger and better. I'm really focused on that. I see this stuff. I see it out of the corner of my eye, but I don't get drawn in. The same thing like how we were relating to the sport jiu-jitsu, how it's become very mainstream. I see it out of the corner of my eye. That's what I do. I focused on my guys. I want my guys to excel and be great and keep striving, and I want them to be the best they can be. That's where my energy's at. Where am I going next? I want to help these guys. I want to help these guys. All right, how many guys are coming? All right, now I know, okay, 100 guys going to be there tonight. I want to help 100 guys be great. I want everybody to leave feeling great. Step it up a notch. So I'm just so into CHOP certified, getting stronger, and everybody that's around me, my family, my friends, anybody that's involved, about making it great for everybody that's involved.
Talk to me quickly about fear. You said that when you stepped up from jiu-jitsu to MMA, the fear level went way up for you, and it was like you're watching.
Oh yeah, the seeds. It's like seeds were thrown in my head. They were planted.
And how do you use fear now for you, and how do you teach people to deal with fear? Because it's easy to talk about it, but obviously fear is a real primal thing that's inside of all of us, and everyone's scared of different things. And so how do you use that, or how do you teach people how to use that fear?
It's not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix, but I could do it. I mean, I do it on demand. I did it with the pancreatic cancer. I mean, they told me, boom, on demand. I'm just gonna step up. I'm gonna deal with this. It wasn't. I didn't dwell on it, and I learned that's something I learned from a fight experience, and it took me decades to actually build the equation of what I learned from that fight I'm relating to, my first MMA fight. But I mean, for me, I conquer fear on demand.
Because you recognize it now.
Boom. I built a whole engine out of this thing over decades. I mean, this is my thing. Conquer fear on demand.
And can you teach other people to do that?
Yes, I can. That's what I do. That's what I do.
I'm guessing people are a little scared of you when they meet you on the mats, or when they roll with you.
Whether it's on the mats or in a boardroom, a little bit. But in the end of the day, I'm there to help these guys be the best they can be. And it's like I say, I'm there for them, not me. But sure, you get that intimidation factor a little bit. But once they get to know me, they know I'm there for them. Once the first confrontation, the first approach, what they would consider as a confrontation, they're in. They're in. If they want excellence, they're in. If they want good, they're on another boat.
Dustin, I always ask people to come here a couple questions at the end. I'm going to hit you with them. If you could make a phone call to the 20-year-old Dustin Denes and give that young man a bit of advice, what would you tell him?
It's a tough question.
Where were you at 20?
I would tell them what if only I knew then what I know now. I would tell them I was in school getting ready to go to Brazil, getting ready to move to Brazil. But I was becoming fascinated and immersed in jiu-jitsu. That's where I was. I would emphasize this, but what I'm teaching now might help and inspire this 20-year-old kid, this me, but that me wouldn't have listened. And I owe a lot of how I was back then played a major role in how I am today, because I've experienced the other end of the spectrum. I've experienced it firsthand, so now I can look from the other side and say, no. Now I've changed the game, and I'm happy I've done that. Really happy I've done that.
Did you have parents or relatives or anyone that kind of got you to become who you are, or do you think this is genetically you who came out?
What, with the champion mindset and the strategy and the excellence?
It's just the guy that would trade his breakfast for a run in the morning when you're 10 and 12 years old.
That's wrestling. Okay. I knew, that like there's a saying Dan Gable says, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And it was, wrestle, and I wanted something different. I knew everybody else wasn't doing it, and it was natural for me. I didn't even think about it. Now I know, hey, if everybody's doing it, I don't want to do it. Because it's mainstream. I don't want to be mainstream. Gold medal, 100 guys sign up, not 100 guys get gold medals. Not 100 girls, whoever shows up, they don't get handed gold out for everybody. I'm gaming for the gold. 24/7, 365. And if I get my ass kicked, I'm gaming for revenge. The moment I walk off that mat, the moment I walk out of that deal, the moment I'm in it to win it. So I think going back to the question, I would tell him what I know now, that 20-year-old Dustin, but that 20-year-old wouldn't have listened. He would have played that hard end of the spectrum, and he would have learned the hard way.
Right.
And I think it's made me that much better because I know I've lived it. You know, people could talk about it all they want. Oh, do this diet. You know, you hear a lot of stuff with diet or anything in life. Oh, do this diet, but they've never done it. I'm a person, I studied diet. I took track of all my notes. I know what worked. After 5 years, I pretty much ate everything in different balances. I know what works for me. You know, how many people really practice what they preach? So, not many. A lot of people can talk. You know, when it comes time to walk the walk, it's a different game.
Right, well said.
So,
what is your diet like? I hear you eat like up to 5,000 calories a day, and you know, you train a lot. You know, what's your diet like? What have you found out?
I'm a carb junkie. I love carbs.
Which is not the mainstream, right?
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, the more carbs I eat, the more throttle I got to kick somebody's ass. And it's like, I love it. I'm just, I've got to back it up and do my strength and conditioning, do my jiu-jitsu and do my training, but I'm a carb junkie.
What kind
I'm
of carbs?
a carb junkie.
What kind of carbs?
Oh, just everything, all this stuff that people say, don't eat that. You want to get shredded, you want to get strong, you want to get fast. I'm a lean, mean killing machine, Brian. Like I'm the real thing. And I'm just gaming carbs all day. Oatmeal, bread, potatoes. I don't even want chicken, and chicken slows me down. Chicken, steak, that stuff slows me down. You know, I'm rice, bread. I'm putting 100 octane in an engine that runs on gas. I'm not these guys who are putting they're putting chicken and steak hand over fist in their system. They're putting diesel in a car that runs on gas. So, hey, whatever works for them. If that's good for them, let them be good.
Right. Well said.
So,
the second part of that advice question is, what's the best advice you've ever received?
I've received a lot of great advice. Make your breaks. Make your breaks. I think that's huge. 3 words. You want to make things happen? Make it happen. Things don't happen on their own. You know, they happen because you step up and you make things happen. You know, whether it be relationships, you want to create something, you know, go out and create. Make things happen. Don't wait for things to happen. Don't sit around and wait and then be surprised when something didn't happen. You got to step up. And that's where the fear where the fear comes in play, where people say, oh, I don't want to reach out to that person, or I don't want to. Step up. Just do it. Conquer your fear on demand. So make your breaks. Make things happen. Go out in the world. Get after it. It's not going to come after you.
I think
Got to get after it. And you know, going back to what make your breaks. 3 words.
Make your breaks.
That's it. Make your breaks.
Good advice. I think Rogerio said he gave you some advice when you were down in Brazil one time, and he was just talking about how, you know, maybe he didn't have to tell you, but he was just like, look, you keep going at it, and, you know, you're going to start cleaning up at everybody down here. Is that something you remember him telling you? Or was that
remember it was actually Rodrigo.
Okay.
And Rodrigo, because he saw I was in that, you know, what I'm calling failing forward. He saw me lose. People don't realize how much I lost. To beat, you know, to submit to, in the long run, in the end, submit guys like Marcelo Garcia and all these superstars. I lost so much. The difference is, I lost like so much. I had to reemphasize it right there. But the difference is I just kept getting up. I never lost sight of the main goal. And Rodrigo actually said, he said, clean, you know, when just stick to it. He was always there with me by my side like big bro, and stick to it, don't back off. You're going to show up soon, and these guys are going to they're going to look at you, the Brazilians, they're going to say, oh shit, the gringo showed up. And the way, you know, my answer to that is the gringo did show up, and he's going to skin everybody alive. And it's like, here it comes back around, it's going to hurt. So that was a motivator. And his father, you know, gave me really great words. His father in the north of Brazil, we would travel up to the north to see his family. And his father said to me, his father saw that I was having a rough time in the competition, but I kept getting up and going forward. And he just said, like I did, for me it was natural, it was my instinct. He said, stick with my son. He said, you just stick with Rodrigo. and everything's going to shine for you. You know, your time's going to come here. So you just got to stick to it. You got to get up and make it happen. Say, make your breaks. Like, hey, I got up and I went to Brazil. You talk about sacrifice. I have my family. Oh, you're going to Brazil? It's a third world country. And at that time, it was pretty much unheard of. Now it's become more mainstream. Guys go to Brazil. It's great for the sport. I'm super happy to see that. And it's a great experience. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think it's an important part that, hey, go do some training in Brazil. Maybe not immerse yourself, but go check it out. Immerse yourself for a couple weeks. Doesn't need to be a couple years. So Rodrigo's father, I stuck with Rodrigo. And sure enough, I mean, bam, it all came back to me. That was the hard work. That was the sacrifice. I owe it to me. I owe it to my coaches. I owe it to my training partners. I owe it to me getting up and kicking my ass out the door at 12 years old, 11, 12 years old.
And fail forward. That's what you keep saying, right?
Fail forward. I'm failing forward. I fall.
Like that.
I'm in the business of failing forward, and I just fall on my face. I get up. I keep going forward. I don't stop because I learn, and that's where if you relate, if you look, I'm not a big fan. Now we're talking to a guy. I spent 4 years. I got a 4-year degree in marketing. I got my MBA. I'm not a big fan of traditional school. I'm not a big fan because the traditional school taught me how to study. But traditional school teaches you not to fail. And a lot of my biggest victories, they're because I failed, but I stepped up. I had to not only step up, but I had to step up to a whole nother level and keep stepping up. Whereas your traditional school system, they teach you not to fail. They teach people, go out and what's the majority of the population do? Go out and get job security. Get after it. No risk, no return. Get in there. So I'm just that different breed, that brass balls breed, and I'm willing to take the risk.
And can you?
I'm gonna get big lessons. I'm gonna step up, and I'm gonna hit home runs. I mean, that's what I'm all about.
Can you teach someone to fail forward who's not doing it? Can you actually teach that? You think?
I think that's something people. I think you can teach so much, but you just it's. I think a lot of people, it goes back to the fear. They're scared. What if I fail and then I lose? They prefer the job security instead of going for it, something bigger and better and huge that, hey, when this thing connects, it's going to be a whole nother level of success. But they're scared to take that risk. They'd rather, they're content. They're content with good. They'll get their job security. They're content, and that's just what they want. It's not a right or wrong. It's just that's what they want. If that's what makes them happy, great for them. I'm happy for them.
Right, just different choices for different people.
Yeah, it's just a different choice. Everybody has their right to their choice and how they want to live their life. And if that's how they want to do it, I take my hat off to them. That's you're doing what you want to do, but I'm into the brass balls and stepping up and
right. It's not the chop way.
Forward. That's not chop.
Oh, it's not chop.
Chop is step up and hit home runs.
Last question for you. To the 20-year-old that's listening to us out there in the world, maybe they're in Brazil, maybe they're in China somewhere. What advice do you give to them? What would you say to them if they want to up their game? If they want to get chop certified, what do they do?
Are we talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Are we talking about the corporate boardroom? Are we talking about
maybe life?
Any angle in life,
yeah.
Whatever it may be, their business, their work, their life in general, martial arts. Come right to me, chopcertified.com. I mean, I'll get them on the path. I'll get them on the path to excellence, if that's what they really want. It's a hard road. It's not for everybody, but it's for the ones who are willing to pay the price. You get the results.
Should they look at some things in their life that they enjoy and just like pick half of them and just sacrifice them? I mean, should they?
I'm big on put something up for sacrifice. Hold yourself to it.
Okay.
You can't set the goal and say, hey, I'm going to get these things done and get this done today. And if I get it, but if I don't get it done. And it's very realistic. They got to be realistic when they're with themselves, but at the same time striving. Because if they're striving, when you make sacrifice, it only ups the stakes. Sacrifice gets bigger, not smaller. You keep challenging yourself. You get big, great sacrifice gets great results. You achieve the goal. If you don't make sacrifice, at best you get good results.
Excellent. I love it, man. It's good stuff. For people that are listening to us, how do they get a hold of you? You just mentioned your website. You do the social media thing. How do they find out about you?
Chopcertified.com.
Yeah. Is there an actual certification they get, or is?
Oh yeah, I'll get them certified. I mean, there's
Yeah.
different phases. There's different. Yeah, I get them on the path. I mean, my stuff is you're gonna walk away and you get immediate results. I mean, I'm all about results. I'm in it to win it, not bullshitting. I'm not in this. I'm in this. I want to make every moment of every second count. I'm not talking about minutes. I'm not talking about hours. I'm talking about moments. I work in split moments. So I'm all about productivity, in it to win it.
I love it, Dustin. Thanks so much for coming. I've seen you on the mat. You're a scary guy indeed. And, you come in great company. People like Peter Irving, Brad Waldron. And, thanks so much for coming here and dropping some science on us.
Happy to be here. Thank you, guys. Incredible success here. Congrats to you, Brian. And it's a real honor and pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure, man. As we say on London Real, it's about the journey. Now, you're on a serious one. Stop back in and let us know how it's going sometime. And all the best.
Definitely. In it to win it.
All right, dude. Take care.
Take care.
What we call reality is in fact nothing more than a culturally sanctioned and linguistically reinforced hallucination.
This week on London Real, we have fitness coach and physical educator Steve Maxwell.
The difference between a coward and, let's say, a hero is what you do with that fear. When you think about all the things that you are grateful for and all the things that you can do, you have a tendency to attract more of same. I've trained a lot of people, and I know a good athlete when I see it. I've seen people in their 80s that are younger than some people in their 20s. I love wrestling, but it's pretty much like checkers. Okay. Jiu-Jitsu is like chess. So my wife throws me out, I move into a small house, and I'm feeling pretty depressed and down. I want to feel what I own. I want to have the weight of my material possessions on my body. When you concentrate on what it is that you don't want, you tend to attract more of same.
On Sunday, London Real presents Steve Maxwell, Ageless.
You go in a closed room and you close the door, the jiu-jitsu guy's going to be the one that comes walking back out.